Hi, this is Ed Doherty at Suncoast Technical College, a Haas H-Tech Training Center. And we're actually working on this project TSA kids do called a CO2 Dragster. But we've been trying to figure out a way to do it on our Haas CNC machine, so we did some fixture work and we got some toolpath, a lot of toolpath here. Let's do a simulation. We actually drew the TSA wood blank, so we had the proper stock configuration. At our school they use a DaVinci Techno router to do this. So I shouldn't say our county uses about 6 of these machines. Techno DaVinci router, and some other schools use some other equipment. But we decided we had a nice Haas VF2, why don't we do it on that with our 4th axis? So we just had to figure out a way to fixture it up, and then we also added some roughing tool paths which weren't in the original tutorial. We added some Opti rough tool path to whittle this down, and you need to leave that section on there, that's the only attachment on the front. So that'll be hand worked later on. Okay. Drill 2 holes for the axle. And there we are. So there's this camera to catch up with us. Okay. Let me put it back to my ISO view. Alright. So we're running it right now. We actually ran off a couple blanks we had. And we're trying to actually see if we can get a better finish on this thing. We shut off all the coolant down here, so right now we're rerunning this one right now, so it's already been cut once. When we wait till it comes back up in the air. This is all in metric, by the way, so we had to, we're running a 6mm ball end mill. Our machine only goes 8100 RPM. It's not a super speed, so pardon my call it. I'm using that for spacer, temporary spacer. But we had to make a tailstock arrangement. We actually were trying to hold this with this on this end. We couldn't hold it by the cartridge, but we've actually made this piece. It used to be on this end. We flipped it around, and this actually makes a good drive unit. We've got these nice collets from our local Sun Hydraulics here with these nice tapered 5C collets, hard-inch collets. But yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty well. Just carry on. Like I said, we're running in metric. We're running in FNC mode because the program is about 2 meg, which is beyond the capacity of this control. But it runs just fine on FNC. Just you can't really do a search or any of that typical kind of stuff. There's just too much code. So it's running pretty good. What we did here, years ago we had made this fixture, and this is called the shell car. Of course it's been hanging around here for a while. This is so thin it hasn't held up too well. Our friend Pat Haley did the tutorials. He wants us to make one out of aluminum, so we pulled this out of our inventory. But we're going to do one in Delrin first. So we're going to chuck it up with a 3-jaw chuck. 3-jaw chuck we got off of eBay. Actually got a nice adapter too, but I think we could chuck this up on the end. And tailstock, we have a tailstock with the 5C right over there. And we got a couple more balsa wood cars. We'll try that out. The cartridge that goes in there, the little wheels. These are called, I forget what wood. It's heavier wood though. We originally were trying to use this collet in here, but this didn't work well. once you put it in, you kind of end up shearing. It's like broaching the hole, and then it won't really drive well. It looked like it was going to work well, but if this has any bind on this end, it'll just spin, and that wasn't a good idea. We were going to try to weld some ribs on here so we can kind of just shove it in and broach it on, but I came up with a brainstorm this morning of reversing the holding, and this seems to be working just fine. We're using hybrid toolpath with all the dynamic motion stuff right now. So it doesn't take too long. We're just trying to get a little bit better finish. And we had to put 2 check patterns, one on the left so we wouldn't try to drive around the back, and one on the right because you still needed to have it attached. So you'll saw the front off and hand work that. So a little bit of hand work, a little bit of paint, put the axles in. That'll be that. So anyway, enough for me. That's another version of our CO2. We got a couple weeks left of school. I just wanted to get this kind of out of the way. We're kind of poking around with it all year. And, so when the high schools start doing the TSA, we want to have them come through here, and then if they need if they don't have a machine available, we'll actually teach them how to set it up in this machine. We can run their projects. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Have a nice summer. Look at these shots around. This one.